My name is Hagan, Ecocapital. We are here again to have a conversation with the CEO of NLK. As part of our Ghana Month celebration, we want to know how the fashion industry, is developing in Ghana here, and then the impact it has on the economy. And you all know that it was just recent that the Minister of Finance came up with the budget for 2025. So we also want to know how the budget, included the fashion space, and then how they will be able to, cope in the years to come. So I'm here with the CEO of NLK, Madam Na Lamley Anan. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Oh, you're always welcome.
And, bringing us here to your nice office.
This is nice.
Very nice.
Okay, let me love it.
All right. Please, how have you been? How is business?
Oh, I'm excellent. Business is good. It's good. There's more room for improvement, but it's good.
Wow.
Yes.
Just as the year began, how have you seen business just after the election into just this year?
Okay, for us as a brand, we launched a new collection in December. And because it was a new collection, a lot of people, there was a lot of interest, there was a lot of reach, there was a lot of, request and purchase. So based on that, the year has been good.
Oh, okay.
The year from January to now, it's been back to back. But we usually take a break mid-February. We couldn't even do that. We just took the break this March. Even though March is tight, Easter and everything, but we had to squeeze in because we've been overwhelmed.
Oh, that's awesome. So, that's awesome. Mostly with the fashion space, you hear that when it's going to the December, most people have production made for the festive season. But right after the festive season, you see that the fashion designers, most of them are idle. But it's great to hear that.
Oh, that was the case. I mean, that's usually the case. That's why we go on break in February, like end of January, actually. So by 25th January to like mid-February, we're usually on break because that's usually a downtime. But as I mentioned, it's because we launched a new collection. That's why it's picked up like that, and we're happy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. So once again, we are from Ecocapital, and this afternoon we are just here to get to know how the fashion space is doing and how the economy has, impacted it for some time now, and then how you either encourage whether Ghanaians should patronize made in Ghana. How does it affect the economy? How does it affect your business? So first of all, can we start with a little background of NLK? Actually, when I heard of the name, I have been seeing it in one of my colleagues. He actually likes wearing your brand, and it's nice, it fits him, and then I even thought it was his initials or his nickname or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So getting to know that it's actually a brand out there. Can you give us a brief information about that?
Shout out to my brand ambassador, Ecocapital. Oh, okay. So NLK, the full meaning is Lamley Couture. So the brand started off as a high-end fashion brand. We used to do wedding gowns and couture pieces. But as we transitioned and we evolved, I mean, we've been in business 11 years now. Our preference changed, our focus changed, and it ties into the Ghana month and everything.
Okay.
So we decided to explore. This was 2019 when COVID hit.
Is it okay?
I mean, people were not wearing extravagant clothes. People were at home, so we had to be creative and decide, okay, what can people wear at home at the same time wear to, work downtime. Just very casual but chic.
Yeah.
And then NLK came about. So there was Lamley Couture. It used to be Lamley Couture, the full name. But now we decided, okay, let's go with the initials because NLK, just the letters, gives a more casual vibe and a more casual feel. So that's where we are now.
Oh, wow. That's nice. That's nice. So what actually pushed you to do fashion? Because,
what pushed me to do fashion is a funny story. People don't like me sharing, but I always like to share because I feel like you always have to motivate people. So growing up as a kid, I know this is cliche, but this is not cliche in this situation. My brother and I, we used to love drawing, like sketching and all of that. I would make pieces for my dolls, but I never thought I would enter the fashion space. I wanted to be a journalist sitting on TV. You know, read all the like.
Yeah.
I love reading. I love
Okay.
speaking, and I
Okay.
love the limelight. So I thought, oh, I'll be on TV, and my mom would be like, "Hey, girl, that's my daughter." Little did I know that there was something called mathematics that will give me one blow there.
Okay.
So when I wrote my SSC, I didn't do all in maths.
Oh,
And
okay.
you know, with university, English, maths, science, or you are not part.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get entry into the university. But my mom was like, "Oh, you're not going to sit at home." So I remember I was in Kumasi at the time. I mean, living my life and exploring. I like traveling. And my mom says, "Oh, I went to Accra Polytechnic. I asked if you could enroll." I'm like, "Oh, my grades are too perfect. Like I could enroll with a fashion course." And because my mom knows I had a passion for that.
Okay.
So she applied, she did the whole application, everything. I was there, and then I got my admission letter. So that's how come I entered the fashion
Fashion.
space.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
through one huge blow, but
That's
it's
nice.
come to pay off.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I could see for
Yes.
myself. I could see for myself. That's great. So, my next question is, so, before that, were you having the skill? You know, most of the times I feel people who do fashion, most of the times do it start from skill, as in they have the skill already, compared to those that learn the skill.
Oh, okay.
How was your situation like?
That's something. I think mine was just innate because first of all, I had hands on sketching. I mean, I said I have to go and bring some of my pieces back and frame them. When I look back at the things I sketched around 8, 9, I don't believe I did that. And then I used to make pieces for my dolls. And my seamstress, God bless her, so she's passed on. At the time when I was growing up, I used to sketch my own designs for her. So she was always looking forward to me bringing her my designs for her to sew for me.
Wow.
So it's something that was just innate, but it wasn't something I had thought of as a career path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. All right. All right. So enough of NLT. We will come back to NLT. NLK. All right. So before that, I want to us to discuss. You mentioned something that during the COVID time,
Yes.
you re-strategized into going into African wear, and then made in Ghana. What brought about that?
Okay, so we re-strategized into more casual pieces.
Yeah.
So what was happening is that nobody was working. First of all, nobody was like a lot of people were not working. Money in the system was short. So if you're making very high-end pieces, first of all, who is going to buy it? If the person even bought it, where are they wearing it to? Nowhere. So we're still making most of our pieces has African, heritage in the fused one way or the other.
Okay.
But we just brought it down to casual pieces that were more functional, very affordable, that people could easily, buy. So that's
okay.
where.
Okay. That's interesting. So, do you think that after the COVID time, the African wear is still selling? I mean, the printing, African prints.
It still is, and like people are in love with made in Ghana outfits. It's not necessarily maybe an outfit having wax print or a batik design, but generally things that are made in Ghana. A lot of people have come to embrace it. It's not where we want it to be, but we are at a good, place. And now that the minister has encouraged that we should wear, I think is a step in the right direction because it's going to help Ghana as a whole. We are helping everybody from the manufacturers of fabrics to the people that we employ as fashion designers to we the fashion entrepreneurs as well, to the dispatch riders because now it's delivery everywhere, to the people who own the e-commerce space, the digital spaces. So everybody is going to benefit one way or the other if we promote things that are made in Ghana. So I think it's a step in the right direction.
Wow. I think you've even taken my next question. I was going to ask about the benefits, So you've even started, but I wanted to elaborate more because I've been having this conversation with people, and even though people like made in Ghana, they sometimes feel that, so there was a debate that can we ever stop importing to wear and wear what we are making. And so that on that debate, what then would you say the importance is, the benefits, especially with what you started with,
Yes.
to the people wearing it, to you, the business person? Yeah.
So beyond as being economically beneficial, it's something that's going to, shape our narrative as Ghanaians and as Africa as a whole. First of all, knowing how the history of most African countries.
Okay.
In order for us to have some sort of liberation, we need to embrace our own. So even just on that narrative alone, it's very, very important that we look to things that are made from Ghana, things that are made from Africa, so that the global stage would see us and change the narrative that they have of us. Because what they've been able to do is to create a perception in the minds of most people that things that are made in Africa are of inferior quality. And that's why a lot of people do not want to purchase made in Ghana or made in Africa stuff. But if you are able to change that perception and that narrative, it will go a long way to help us as a country.
Wow. So is it possible we can go ahead, do the made in Ghana, where it's promote it without importing any aspect of it? I'm just thinking around it. I know there are certain things that for some time now we still haven't produced here, and you need in your business. But if you can match it to 10, if you can mark it to 10.
Yeah, that'd be hard. I'm not gonna lie, because we have to be honest. Because even if I used batik, which I use a lot in my outfit, like I can see this whole thing is made of batik, apart from the lace on it.
Okay.
The batik is 1%. 99% of the things that makes up the outfit is imported. My thread, the zip, even the machine I used to make it. So that's is it possible? Yes. In the short term, no. Okay. Can we work at it? Yes. It depends if we decide to, manufacture more things here. Okay. Because as it stands, we import more than we manufacture. So even if you decide that I'm going to go with fabrics produced locally, the other components that comes together to make the outfits, we're still exporting. So it'll take quite some time, but I think there's hope.
Okay. All right. So to start from, there's hope. So what hope would you say, or what is the expectation of your colleagues who are in the fashion industry space on getting encouraged to do more made in Ghana?
I think I want to go back to when I was in university. When I was in university, they used to laugh at us, those who do fashion. They call us Oyadi. When it's exams time, and then we have to carry our machines, because usually where we write exams, the machines is not enough. So sometimes you have to carry the singer, the machine from your hall. That's
right.
From your hall to the examination. You almost didn't want to be associated with fashion.
Wow.
But now, if you look around, things have changed. I know my friends in the banking space. I know my friends in different, very corporate jobs who have moved they've left, and they are now. Everybody wants to be called a fashion designer. So that in itself should tell you that there's something happening in that space. And somebody once told me, when you take agriculture, you take health, the next thing is clothing. So the three most important needs of a human being, we happen to be up there in that category. So there's so much. There's so much hope. There's so much.
Okay. So I want to connect this to your what you just said. So how does it help in job creation? Recently, I mean, from your space, how has it helped with creating job to people?
Okay, I would say I'd always come back to myself as an example. I've been in business officially for 11 years. I've not worked for anybody. So first of all, I have created a job for myself. Then there are people that I work with, my tailors and seamstresses. I've created jobs for them. Then now there are the people that I source fabric from. that I buy from, they are also getting money from me. Then I go back to the dispatch riders now that delivery who are delivering our products, they've been employed. Now to all the websites, all the e-commerce, anybody in IT, they've been employed. Photographers, they've been employed. Models, they've been employed. So it's like it's a whole force of people you employ when you're in the fashion field, because we use different people to work, and so it's a whole job creation scheme on its own. There are so many people that come to help us thrive as fashion designers.
So would you advise investors watching us right now to invest in the fashion industry, and why? I think you've said much, but for investors out there who want to invest in the fashion space, do you have any analysis to, convince them that it's a lucrative area?
Yes. Okay. So let me give them facts and not what I'm saying. So this is the analysis from the global fashion industry. So globally, the fashion industry is valued at approximately $1.7 trillion, contributing to 2% of the global gross domestic products. That's globally.
Okay.
So let's come to Africa.
Okay.
So Africa alone, we're generating $5.57 billion, and it's approximated to get to $8.86 billion by 2029. This is Africa. Then now Ghana.
Okay.
So in Ghana, we are looking at reaching $268.5 million by 2029. So this is the amount of money in Ghana. So even if every investor gets $1 million, I would not even say a year, it's $268 million. So even if there are 200 investors, then one person is getting $1 million from the fashion industry in Ghana. I mean, they should do their math.
Wow. That's very lucrative. Looking at that, I want us to look at the challenges that comes with, and the challenges the space is currently facing. Because most people who are in fashion make it look like it's very lucrative, but most of the times we don't hear the challenges. So we will go to the challenges when it comes to made in Africa, that's African wear or Ghanaian wear. But the space itself, what are the challenges you are facing?
So here in Ghana, the reason why you'd hear people, say they are making money, but you are not seeing it, is because we do not have the necessary infrastructure to do mass production. Because in order for us to get these figures we are talking about, I shouldn't be sitting in these four corners. In these four corners, how much am I making? I'm just making enough to survive and manage a business. But if I want to make the amount of money that will impact the country, and I can call myself a billionaire one day, you should have a factory with about how many workers sitting there. You should be able to mass produce so that you can cover the population. Like even if you're covering half the Ghanaian population, you're clothing them, that's like a lot of money. But the infrastructure we need, the machinery we need, all these things we import is expensive. So that's where the investors come back in. So if we have people coming in to push money into the system, we'll definitely make this monies that we're talking about.
Wow. So looking at things, it's not about the demand. Is it about the demand, or is it about the, as you said, the infrastructure around it?
Because there's demand for it, the infrastructure is not there to produce. Even me here, there are people who are asking for, I do not have it to produce. They will come, I say I'm sold out. Because I don't have the number of workers I need to be able to turn out what people need from me. That's even just me. So imagine what's going on out there. So as for demand, there's demand, and the demand is not even just for Ghanaians. People outside the country are looking for made in Ghana and things that have African essence so much that you ask yourself, where do I even start from? So the demand is there. It's just a matter of producing enough to meet that demand, to make the necessary returns that we need.
Okay. So what about competing with other imported fashion brands?
So that's where we have to change. So that's the conversation of changing the narrative and perception. And luckily, it's working. I've seen a lot of Ghanaian fashion designers in spaces that you ordinarily wouldn't see. Recently, I think Chocolate was on BBC, I think just about a week ago. It's a Ghanaian fashion brand. And then there's another one, Boydo. He was also in America doing one thing or the other. These are local fashion brands on global stages that ordinarily you wouldn't have seen. So it's happening, but it's just taking time. Yes.
Well, would you encourage the youth to? How will you encourage the youth to come into fashion?
Sometimes it's hard to encourage people if there are no track records. But luckily, we have track records. So usually I'd like to just create an environment where people will aspire to become fashion designers based on what they see happening around. I, for instance, I started this business when I was 19 because I was still in school and I was making clothes for my friends. I haven't worked for anybody. This space we are in, I bought it myself. I think I drive a car too that I bought. I have a daughter who is 14 years old that I'm taking care of. Like, I'm not going to say I'm where I want to be financially. But at least the fashion business has changed and transformed my life. And I think that if people should take that as a career path and be serious and be consistent, they can also create something for themselves other than always chasing the white collar job. So, and there are other fashion entrepreneurs, even people that I aspire, like I look up to, who are doing amazing. So that alone should be a testament of why they should come into the space, because it's big. We need a lot of people so that we can, change the narrative globally.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll be getting to the end of the section very soon. So, where do you see the fashion space, Ghanaian fashion space, in the next 5-10 years?
In the next 5-10 years, I think a lot of fashion brands have already done the Paris fashion. Those are the stages that you go, like when you see an African brand. So we've already done that. But what I want to see, like you said, is us transforming the economy, in terms of moving our GDP from stage 1 to stage 2. Like, what real transformation can the fashion industry bring that can be seen and the figures show? So that's what I'll be, because sometimes we see ourselves in all these spaces, but are we making the money that's actually transforming the economy as we need it to be? So in the next 5 years, I want, when they are reading, our budgets, the finance minister is like, okay, fashion industry, that will be very, very encouraging. That will be nice to see.
Okay. It's already encouraging to see most of our ministers, even our president, patronizing and then wearing our African Ghanaian made everywhere he goes. It's encouraging. That's nice. But is there anything in the 2025 year budget that you think encourages the fashion space?
The fashion space on its own, apart from encouraging people to wear made in Ghana, but the fashion space on its own, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they usually just cover the creative industry, which covers all of us. And in that light, I think that there's a lot that they are doing. I think the finance minister even mentioned that they were going to take away the e-levy. And that's because, imagine somebody has bought your product and is paying add the charges. You have to add the charges, and they are paying, and they are taking. Usually, I don't ask for it at all. If you add it, that's fine. If you don't add it, I don't ask for it. But even if you are making payments and they're deducting that, it doesn't encourage people to buy. So I think that was a step in the right direction for entrepreneurs and the e-commerce space as a whole. So we are looking forward for it to be implemented. We'll be really happy.
Interesting. So bringing the conversation to an end, I want you to give a message to 3 people right now listening to you. First of all, the investor out there who want to invest in your business or the fashion space. Secondly, the customer out there who want to be encouraged more to wear more made in Ghana goods. And then finally, your colleagues out there who are in the business, who are giving up.
to that investor, you're not um, making a wrong move if you decide to invest in the fashion space or in the creative space as a whole. Because I mean, I mentioned the figures, I've mentioned the statistics. There's a lot of potential here. There's so much potential. We even see people who have schooled abroad, they come back and they are setting up
Yeah.
fashion houses
Yeah.
here, and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, where did this person come from? So
Yeah.
that should tell you that
Yeah.
there's so much. They leave everything abroad and then they come back here and they are starting. And there's one brand, the owners are from Australia, but they are
Okay.
using our wax print and they are exporting so much to
Wow.
Australia. So it means that there's a lot here. So let's all have an understanding of this, because I think that is the lack of education and understanding of the space
Okay.
that is making it very difficult for people to go full out and invest. And because people also want the return on their money very fast. But in this industry, you have to have patience. When you have the patience, you definitely reap off. So to our investors out there, let's have a conversation. Let's understand the space. And trust me, you not regret, investing in the fashion space. Oh, our customers, you know that there's this proverb that I wanted to use, which kind of it ties into
Okay.
this. Like when you educate a woman, you educate a whole nation. Like when you buy made in Ghana, you are helping the whole economy.
True.
You're not helping just one person.
Yeah.
The Ghana that we are, and Ghana is hard, and Ghana is hard, and the economy, and the president, and this is not. It takes a collective effort.
Yeah.
And our customers, you are part of that collective decision making that will transform the whole economy. So I know that buying made in Ghana sometimes is expensive. There are some brands that is quite expensive. But even if every Ghanaian decided that, okay, I'm going to use the whole year to save and buy one made in Ghana, even that alone will transform the whole industry. So it's not a matter of buying so much, but let's start one Ghanaian, one outfit. Let's just start at a slow space and see how that will transform the whole space as a whole.
I think for me, I've started mine with N.
NLK.
So your last information for your colleague fashion designers who
Okay.
are actually down and want to give up.
Personally, I've given up like 100 times. And I've been in business 10 years. So 100 times 10, it means I should have been in business 100 years. So I've given up even in the future.
Yeah.
But there's always one thing that keeps me going. And is knowing that there's a purpose to this. It's not just making clothes, but it's a whole transformation. When you look at the number of lives that you're transforming as one business owner, and you look at other people that just by buying their outfits, they are excited. It's like I got a message from one client today, and I listened to the message like 100 times. I was just happy because she was so excited. And that's it. It's not just about money. It's not just, but it's like
the impact.
Whose life are you impacting through this thing that you're doing? And when you are on that path and you are more purpose driven, the returns will definitely come. So sometimes, not sometimes, all the times, please be purpose driven. Why am I doing this? Who is this impacting? When it impacts that person, how do I feel about it? When you stay on that thread, trust me, the money will come. So let's continue. Let's stay focused. Let's do the right, and let's put the best out there. In terms of quality, it should be good enough to compete with the global brand so that people will patronize from us and will understand what we're doing a lot better.
Wow, this has been a very, very inspiring and educative, section with you, Madam Na Lamley Annan. I got it right.
You got it right.
Wow. And it's a nice thing to know that you are doing very much with NLK. We at Ecocapital are proud of you. We'll come back again next time.
Please do.
And
Please
then,
do. You always keep coming. I have one.
Okay. He's pushing us. All right. So viewers out there, thank you for making time to listen. And just as she said, to our investors out there, to the clients out there, and to those of us in the fashion space, let's be encouraged. Let's buy made in Ghana goods, and let's make Ghana proud. Thank you so much. See you.